The current study examines top-down emotion regulation strategies, temporal effects on affect, attentional deployment, and working memory load. Emotions move through a sequence of stages: stimulus, attention, appraisal, and response. Emotion regulation can be bottom-up or top-down. Top-down emotion regulation strategies can filter and limit activation of emotional response. There are two prevailing top-down emotion regulation strategies: cognitive reappraisal, or reframing the context of a situation to be more neutral or positive, and guided attention, redirecting attention away from negative stimuli. In addition, temporal effects can impact emotion regulation, working memory demands, and activation of attention. Prior research has examined the effects of top-down emotion regulation strategies on affect and working memory demands. However, direct comparisons of these strategies and their temporal effects are not well established. Aim 1 of this study is to explore a side-by-side comparison of the effects of guided attention and cognitive reappraisal on emotion regulation effectiveness, working memory load, and attentional deployment. Aim 2 of the study explores the temporal effects of top-down emotion regulation strategies on these same variables of interest. The dependent variable of emotion regulation effectiveness was measured by a self-reported 10-point affect rating scale anchored from very negative 1 to very positive 10. Attentional deployment was measured by the percent of total trial gaze fixations to negative areas of interest on images, and working memory load was measured by intertrial change in pupil diameter. Prior to the start of the study, we hypothesized that, in line with prior research, 1. Top-down emotion regulation would be effective at emotion regulation. 2. That cognitive reappraisal may be slightly more cognitively effortful than guided attention. And 3. Guided attention would result in fewer gaze fixations to negative stimuli compared to cognitive reappraisal. 54 participants completed a top-down emotion regulation task. During the task, participants freely viewed a series of negative images while being eye-tracked. The task consisted of 4 blocks of 20 images each. Each block began with an emotion regulation strategy cue followed by 20 trials. Each trial consisted of viewing one image for 4 or 8 seconds while implementing the top-down strategy, followed by an affect measure. During the emotion regulation task, gaze behavior was tracked using Pupil Lab's eye-tracking system. Images viewed in the task had negative foregrounds and neutral backgrounds. It was observed that when implementing guided attention, participants primarily directed their eye gaze to the neutral areas of the images. However, participants exhibited markedly greater eye gaze fixations to negative image areas when implementing cognitive reappraisal versus guided attention. Post-hoc univariate repeated measure ANOVAs revealed that cognitive reappraisal was more effective at regulating emotion than guided attention. Results also confirmed that cognitive reappraisal resulted in substantially higher fixations to negative stimuli than guided attention. For this study, the percent change in pupil dilation was not significantly different between the two strategies. Results also revealed that affective response was not significantly changed from 4 seconds to 8 seconds of negative image viewing. Additionally, 8 seconds of top-down emotion regulation did result in a significant increase in intertrial pupil dilation compared to 4 seconds of top-down emotion regulation. A primary finding of this study is that despite a greater number of fixations to negative stimuli, cognitive reappraisal was significantly more effective at regulating emotion than guided attention. In addition, top-down emotion regulation strategies maintained emotion regulation as early as 4 seconds and for up to 8 seconds of exposure to negative stimuli. Many studies have utilized pupillometry as a measure for working memory load. However, It cannot be said with certainty if in this study, which examined both eye behavior and emotional response, pupillometry results were due to working memory load or other factors like eye strain. Future studies may benefit from examining potential covariates of divergent emotion regulation outcomes and how working memory load may interact with these covariates. Further exploration of the interplay between attentional deployment and affective response in emotion regulation is also of interest. In conclusion, developing a better understanding of the temporal effects of top-down emotion regulation can reveal further insight into individual differences when interpreting and responding to emotional stimuli.